gentlemen, boys and girls, cheerleaders, welcome to an episode of Tatami Talk. My name is Juan. This is my partner Anthony. It's a judo podcast for judo players by two judo players. So, Anthony, how you doing?
Well, it's last episode, right after we recorded, I went to get my MRI results.
Yeah.
Basically, I need knee surgery.
Well, before we were talking about like ways for not getting knee surgery for you, but you had a little incident where your knee popped out again.
Yeah, so I realized it wasn't popping out; it was locking. So the MRI results basically said it's a meniscus tear, and it's like not going to heal. So, yeah, but basically, it was only popping out when I was doing certain pressures. And like I said, I probably just can't do BJJ anymore, but or I can do BJJ and just let people pass my guard. So stay on top.
Right? Go ahead, come past it, you know?
Yeah, but yeah, I haven't decided what to do. I'm leaving for Japan in 2 weeks? Yeah, I'm leaving in 2 weeks, so I'm not going to get surgery right now. I'm just going to wait till I come back and then adjust my training to see how much I can get away with and see if it affects my everyday life. And that was what I said right after I came back from a doctor. But then the other night, I told you this, I was sitting on this computer desk and it was at night and my wife was asleep already. And I turned this way and I pushed off my computer chair to get something behind me. And it locked out. And I usually get it out by kicking it straight, right? But it wouldn't kick straight. Like I was trying to kick it straight and wouldn't go back in place. I had to yell my wife's name and get her to come, and she said, what? And then she grabbed I was like, you need to grab my ankle and pull it. And then she slowly pulled it, and she saw the whole knee like shift and pop.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh my God, that is so loud. She said. So that kind of freaked her out. But yeah, so that was just it's a one-time thing because I've been twisting and doing uchikomis and all that kind of stuff, and it hasn't popped out again. So I don't know if it's just like the way I was twisting my knee or something. But that made me really worried. I'm like, I can't even push off a computer chair. How am I going to do judo, right? So yeah, but I'm going to wait till I come back. I don't want to risk injury before my trip, so I'll come back and then play around with it and see what I can do.
Well, I know you weren't planning on doing any judo on your trip anyways, but is this like now locked in that you're not doing any judo, no martial arts?
Yeah, I'm not even gonna bring my gi.
Oh, boo!
Yeah.
How about some shorts and a rash guard?
Shorts and a rash guard. I don't know. I think I just want to pack light this time. So if I don't bring my judo gi, I don't need to bring a suitcase. So that's pretty much it. And
so
we're gonna rent a car. Yeah, I'm just gonna take a backpack. We're renting a car, and I was just mulling over whether I should rent a van or not, because like if we each had a suitcase, it's not gonna fit. So, well, if I bring a backpack, then it's not gonna be a problem. But yeah, so the knee situation is that most likely will get surgery. I just have to decide between it's a meniscus, right? I mentioned it. Yeah, it was meniscus. So I have to decide between a repair or just to remove the whole thing. And if I repair it, it's not guaranteed to heal. So if it doesn't heal, I'll have to go back in and remove it anyway. So I know a lot of athletes opt to just get it removed so they don't have to deal with it again, but it increases your chances of knee pain and arthritis early on. So yeah, one step at a time. We'll just try to train with it, and then we'll just have to live with the fact that it'll lock up once in a while, and I need someone to pull my ankle straight.
Yes. Can't wait to practice. No, I'm joking. That's horrible. So
it's not painful. It's just really annoying.
Yeah, I can imagine.
That's what. Yeah. So
you feel a little locked, and you're just like, oh no, what's gonna happen?
You can't. It feels really weird. It's like you want to straighten it, but you can't.
I saw like the weirdest. It was a soccer player knee dislocation, and I was gonna send it to you, but I was like, nah, it's just too mean to send Anthony right now. It was like this knee is just so dislocated, it's like tugging on and put like. Remember, you weren't there when I dislocated my finger that really bad time one time, but it's like it was just, oh my God, it was so far out, and like two guys tried to pull it
Fingers
back,
hurt,
back in.
Fingers dislocating hurts.
Yeah, so it was like crazy, but yeah. So, for me, by the time this video comes out, so it's coming out on Friday, it will be next Sunday, which would be my next no-gi judo clinic at the Hollywood Japanese Culture Institute in the Annex building. So if you're in the LA area, I don't plug this that much. I should actually plug it more on the podcast, but last month I had to cancel it because I was stuck in Japan. They're going to have another one this time. But yeah, if you're in the LA area, you want to learn some no-gi judo, I do a 2-hour seminar at the Japanese Culture Institute of Hollywood. I do it in the Annex building. It's not the judo building, but it's still good. We have great mats and stuff. We throw each other. It's a fun time. It's a great time for everybody. It's only $50. If you bring a partner with you, try to encourage people to bring somebody to work with. It's only $40 each. But if you come by yourself, you can find somebody. It's only $50. So that's what's going on with me. And next week actually is going to be the novice tournament. Do you plan on going to that one to go coach?
I wasn't gonna go, but now that I don't know if you know Elizabeth.
Yeah.
She's going, and one of our kids is going. So I was like, maybe I'll show up. I don't plan to coach. I plan to just go be there. Because I want Scotty to get more chances in coaching, especially the kids. But maybe I'll coach Elizabeth. I don't know. I haven't decided yet, but
yeah, I was planning to go to this tournament to go coach when it was going to be last month, or it was going to be when I was in Japan last month, whatever. Not get changed the date. So when I set my dates for my no-gi class, then they changed the date for some weird reason. They put it on the day of my no-gi class. I'm like, well, I guess I can't go coach now.
Yeah, we don't want that one where this guy here.
We don't want that guy here. Psh, thinks he's the fourth Don now. Then he can do whatever he wants. Get out of here, sucker.
I haven't been coaching at a tournament for a while. I've been just so busy. So maybe I will show up. And yeah, you just reminded me I need to go register just in case. But I've been really busy on Sundays because, as you know, Sunday and Mondays are only 2 days I have off technically right now. So I've been getting a lot of work done before I leave for a trip. I still need to find a dog sitter. And yeah, there's a bunch of stuff going on. So
if you take photos in Japan, remember to point. All right, remember point at whatever you're taking photos of, point at it. Okay.
Yeah, Gerard was saying, hopefully your finger gets a rest. So, all right. So that's that. Maybe I'll be there. Maybe I won't. We'll see.
All right. Okay. So you want to go to our main topic, or is there anything else you want to talk about before we go into it?
Well, it's going to lead into the main topic, right? But there's the Chris Taguchi seminar coming up. I'm upset that I will be in Japan.
Yeah, so if you're in the LA or California area, West Coast area, Taguchi's coming to the West Coast in April. So they're doing a co-thing with Nanka, which is our Yudan Shikai. So it's April 6th. She's going to be at CJ Judo. I'm not sure when the registration for that's going to go up, but we've been posting the QR code and stuff for people to look at when it's here. Now, that's in Northern or the Bay Area. Now, if you're in Southern California, she's going to be here at Valley Judo April 12th and 13th. So that's going to be a 2-day seminar. So she's going to do 1 day up in the Bay and 2 days out here. So it's really cool that she's doing a seminar because she has really good modern day judo, two-time world champion, Olympic gold medalist, great player, and I love her story. It's just like, so it wasn't good enough to be part of the Japanese national team. So I'm gonna go to Canada.
No, don't say that.
That's how I see it.
The way how the way they pick people are very arbitrary sometimes.
Yes, I know. But it says like, hey, so I came part of the Japanese national team. That's cool. I'm gonna go to Canada, get that part of their national team, 2-time world champion, Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of times, how do you say this? A lot of times they pick people based off of like how to perform internationally, but due to politics, like it happens here too. Due to politics, certain people get more chances to go to certain places and get more points or whatever. So we don't know what it was like, right? So I wouldn't say that she was in any way passed up because she wasn't good enough. So
yeah. Well, that's for the West Coast. In other news, for my East Coast buddies or East Coast pals out there, Neil Ladin is coming to town. So he's going to be at, I'm not going to list all the places he's going to be at, but he's going to be from April 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th in New York, New Jersey area. So if you live out there, go check out his seminars. It'd be great for you to go talk, great mind and stuff. Anthony actually went to one of his seminars before. And how do you enjoy it?
We can talk about it later because it's going to go into the main topic, right? There's two more. Now that you mentioned, there's two more things I wanted to say. Like, one is that since our last episode, we got a lot of good response, and since then, I think it was just yesterday or the day before yesterday, Shintaro came out with a new Uchimata
Oh
video.
no.
Yeah, we talked about it. Yeah, so go watch that. It's interesting, like I said. Don't read the comments. So that's all I have to say. The other thing is the Substack. I just noticed on the Substack, again, I think people are still confused. The tier that allows you to see the posts that are walled behind subscription is you have to be paid. You have to select the paid tier. It won't let me change the wording. So it's going to say paid. But it's free. Like it's $0. The cost of the paid tier is $0, but you have to subscribe to the paid tier. Um,
Can't you put like a price up there that shows like it paid tier
No,
is
it
zero
can't.
zero
It doesn't.
zero?
I tried. It's not. It doesn't let me do that. Basically, you have to select the pay tier. And also, when I set up the pay tier, it forced me to set up a Stripe account. If you don't know what Stripe is, it's basically like a payment system. So whenever you go online and you buy something, like I'm sure if you go to Shintaro's thing, you buy one of his instructionals or something off his YouTube membership, it goes through Stripe. I'm pretty sure. So it's like a payment system. And I had to sign up for an account. I have to like email my license and everything to get it verified, right? Um, just to hook it up, just so I can accept this $0 pay tier thing.
Yeah.
And also, I have to set up the cost for our founding member. So you have like a option to pay for like a founding membership, and I set it to something like $50 or something because there's a minimum. It's like tier one's $5, tier two is $10. Anyway, like I had to set a non-zero amount. Okay, basically, and the reason I brought it up is because the other day I looked up my Tatami Talk dashboard on Substack.
Yeah.
Some people left some comments saying they tried to sign up for the founding member and said, I appreciate it because a lot of you guys left really, really nice comments and saying, I want to support this. Like, I like what you're doing. Here's the found. I was like, oh, and I was like, holy shit, did they just pay me $50? No, I don't want, I appreciate it, but I don't want to pay file the taxes, basically,
Yeah.
right? So I freaked out and I had to log in and check my Stripe account, and I haven't checked it in a while because I didn't expect to use it. And I said, what was my password? And thankfully it didn't charge any of you. So yeah, I'm setting it up in a way so that it's free, basically. All I'm asking for is some people make an effort to like subscribing, make an effort so they can see some of the stuff that takes me a lot of effort to do. I also received a comment with someone that said that they liked the video, the Ukemi series video that I did, especially the class examples, but they wished it was shorter because I included 2 classes there, so that's like almost 2.5 hours, right? Of the video is 2.5 hours, and he's like, "Hey, I wish you would just like cut it down into like just the games and show the drills and everything." So I don't know how to word this, but it was done intentionally like that because I don't want people to copy the games. I mentioned that I don't want people to copy the games because it's not the point of it, right? The point is, you got to figure out and understand why I picked those games for those situations based off what I saw happen in the class. So that's why I narrated the whole thing. And the intended feeling of that whole video series was it should feel like you came to become my assistant instructor for that class. That's how it should be like. You sat in on the class and you were like an assistant instructor. That's the whole feeling. So that's why I included the whole thing. But if I mentioned it before on the text, and I also mentioned it on the podcast, but no one actually ever said anything. But if you'd like to see more stuff where how I teach throws, like because that series had some throws in it, but because I use throws to teach Ukemi. But if you want another series that's focused on throws, you got to let me know because I'm not gonna spend. It's pretty high effort to do that Ukemi series, but at least the Ukemi series, I got a lot of people asking for it. But for throws, if not a lot of people are going to not asking for it, then I'm not going to do it because it's high effort. So, but that's why I put it behind a paywall because I also want to filter out the comments from idiots too.
A free paywall.
A free paywall, yeah, free $0 paywall. So
yes.
Anyway, yeah, let's go into the main. That's all I wanted to talk about.
Okay. So yeah, so please support Anthony and then his Substack. He puts a lot of work into this. He really wants to help people out and just put out more ideas about how to teach judo and
Mhm.
do judo. So help him out like that, okay?
Yeah, we're gonna finish the unsafe series. I definitely want to do it before I get surgery, so
Yeah.
we're gonna finish that. Yeah.
So what we are going to do, finish doing up the unsafe series, which is keeps coming up with new ideas and things we kept thinking of, and we want to redo banned moves in judo because the
Yeah.
last one we did was outside. We didn't throw each other that hard, but now we're back in the dojo. Let's redo it. But it's also been
Yep.
like what almost 5 years since we've done that video. So
Yeah, that way if I get hurt during the band moves, I can fix it in one go
it's a
with one surgery. Yeah.
yeah. So our main topic of the day, we're talking about seminars, and so it's what are the pros and cons or big difference or the good things and bad things, like I said, of going to a seminar compared to just instructionals. So that means like on YouTube, buying buying some stuff behind a paywall, buying some videos or stuff. So what's the pros and cons about them? So
And
Anthony, I know,
you also wanted to compare it to just visiting in someone's dojo, right?
well, yeah, because I wanted to compare those two, and then I wanted to compare
Yeah.
going to a seminar compared to going to a dojo. And even if you want to talk about it more, this is something that one of my old senseis used to say is going to a tournament is like going to 5 classes. People always say that. But then I hear other people say, well, you want to know, going to a different dojo and practicing with them is better than going to a tournament. So it's like there's all these different sayings and things. So I just want to compare some of these things together. So,
Yep.
Anthony, what's your opinion on going to a seminar compared to just buying stuff like just buying videos and instructionals?
So let me start off by saying, uh, and I'll ask you the same question too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've been to one, two, three, four. I've been to 5 seminars ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think 5 seminars. Yeah, around 5 or 6 in my life. Two of which are BJJ, and the rest are judo. And I've only really found one of them helpful.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just say that one of them was helpful. And it was helpful in 2 ways. One of which is the technique, right? And the other is helpful in terms of like understanding judo politics.
Mm-hmm.
Was that it was I talked about it in an older episode. It was Nicholas Gill's clinic,
Mm-hmm.
and I asked him how he grew Judo Canada's program, right? To
Yeah.
the way it is, how strong they are today.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really helpful, right? Did I need to go to a seminar to ask him that? No, maybe, but that it provided like a platform and a connection for me to talk to him about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the technique side was helpful, but I don't think it was something that I couldn't have learned at the dojo.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think it's something I would have learned eventually anyway. So it's not something that I had to go learn from Nicholas Gill, right? So it was just a Sankaku turnover, my favorite turnover now, right? I teach it all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
So I think I would have developed that eventually anyway. So, but that was the only one I went to. And what about you? How many seminars have you went to?
Really, I just don't. Here's one thing: I don't go to a lot of seminars
Mhm.
because I'm a cheap bastard. That's the first thing, reason why. And two, there's really not a whole lot of people that I really want to go watch seminars to or go to seminars with people. What I like doing, this is going to sound terrible, but I'm gonna give away a little sneaky secret I do. If
Mhm.
I know a judo player is visiting a dojo or going somewhere that I want to go practice, that I want to still watch, I try to sneak into that practice or go to the practice on
Yeah.
that day. And sometimes they'll announce it, sometimes they won't announce it. Sometimes you just hear through the grapevine that someone's going to be there, and I sneak in. The reason why I like that is more because it's more intimate. Where seminars are more intimate than buying a video. Okay, when you buy a video, you just watch a video, you mimic it and stuff like that. But when you go to a seminar, you may be able to ask a question, you may be able to talk to them for a second, but there's gonna be a whole lot of that. Oh, I want to take the photo with them. I got to get it for the gram. I got to do it for clout and stuff. That I was there. Where sometimes you get to ask questions, sometimes you don't. That's what I want to do more. I want to pick someone's brain a little bit about certain moves and why they do
Yeah.
stuff. So I'm not a big seminar guy. Like like you know me for how many years now, and
Yeah.
I swear I've probably gone maybe 2, if that, since we've been friends.
Yeah. So for me, that it's funny when you brought it. So 2 days ago, you were like, "What are we going to talk about this week?" And I was like, "Yeah." And you told me this is the topic you want to talk
Yeah.
about. I was like, "Damn, this is originally gonna be one of the topics I wrote on the Substack for the
Hmm.
unpopular opinion."
Yeah.
Again, I wanted to put it behind the paid
The
quote
paywall.
unquote the paywall, because I know I'm gonna get so much shit for it. But since we're gonna talk about it now, I'm just gonna talk. I'm just gonna talk
Just
about it in public.
put it out there.
Yeah, and just like the episode where we talked about that BJJ guy that got pissed off listening to our episode, like if you don't have to listen to me if you don't like what I say, but this is just my personal experience, right? Yeah, I think seminars overall are a waste of time. 99% of the time is a waste of time unless you are, how do I say this? Unless, like, for Chris Degucci, right? I just want to meet her. It's like a fanboy thing, right?
You want it for the gram, you want the photo, you want the autograph, the handshake.
Honestly, that's what a lot of people want to do. Like, the only photo I took, like the only times I took photos for seminars was Darcel Yancy when he came. One that was for our dojo Instagram, right? Because we wanted like a group dojo picture.
Yeah.
And then the other one was Neil Adams, because Philippe told me to take one again to show I was there. But all the other places, all the other seminars I went to, like Nicholas Gill, BJJ, famous BJJ people, I never took a photo. I just don't care. Like, and you can actually look at my Instagram, look at my Instagram account, and I don't really post. I mostly post food, but I don't post stuff for the gram usually.
Yeah, I do.
But
totally
a lot of
I
people
point at stuff for the gram.
Yeah, a lot of people want that either to advertise their dojo or say like, hey, I trained with this guy, like so that's if you find value in that, then sure, go. I'm not knocking on anyone that wants to do that, by the way. Like, that's fine, that's valuable if you want to go there. But most of the seminars are basically meet and greet. That's one problem. Number two problem is again, I'm gonna get a lot of heat for this. Most of those seminars are targeted towards kids. Yeah, it's like, oh, we want kids to have a role model to meet, like Dari Beloaded or something, right? But and I know this because I talked to one of the guys who organized this stuff and bring people over, and he's like, oh, we want to inspire young people to do blah 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 blah. I'm like, I don't think this is, again, my controversial opinion. I don't think meeting Dari Beloaded or Hifumi Abe is going to affect my decision whether I want to keep training judo or not, for the most part. Like, if you already look up to someone, I don't think meeting them would be that big of a change. Does it make sense? Like, I'm still going to want to, like, have a girlfriend and go hang out with my friends, stuff, training judo, if that was what I wanted, if that was what I was going to originally do anyway. So I don't think there would have been that big of a change. Did you want to say something before I move?
No, I was just saying that I can understand the whole thing about, like, oh, well, if you meet your hero, that might drive you to become a better player, or drive you to be like, oh, I can be an Olympian too, or like, they did it, I can do it. Going back to with this being for kids and for like, okay, go back to the Yancy thing, okay?
Yeah,
that was a huge thing to happen. Okay, there was tons of people there, but the thing that gets me, this is the thing that always annoys me when I go to some of these clinics, is that they'll say on there, okay, no kids, no kids under this age, okay, no white belt. You must be a green belt and above to even understand these techniques to do this.
That's what I wanted to talk about next. Yeah.
And then you get there, and there's like all these little kids, 5-year-old little kids that are just there. And I'm gonna say, just so their parents can say, oh, my son trained with Yancy. Like, no, he didn't. He went to a damn clinic. He didn't train with him. He went to one weekend clinic. Does not mean that he trained with him. Okay. And my thing is, like, there's, like, I'm being mean now. Some people might get mad at this. When you're a white belt or a yellow belt there and you're not supposed to, you're literally lying to get there and stuff, and you're still wearing your yellow belt or your orange belt or whatever it is, or your white belt, you are taking away a spot from someone that could be there that is meant to be for. Okay. If you're not, like, we talk about how learning certain techniques on YouTube, watching videos, you have to be a certain belt rank to understand what people are talking about sometimes. It's the same thing for these clinics. If they say it's for green belts and above, it means that these are for green belts and above. But when I go to these things, I see white belts, yellow belt, orange belts there, and little kids screaming and hollering that aren't understanding what's going on. It's like, these are wasted spots. I think someone else could be there.
I don't want to go too deep into that, because if you listen back to the episode where I talk about going to the Darcel Yancy clinic, that's basically what we complained about, right? Like, that clinic in particular is not for beginners. It's not primarily a meet and greet. It was a training. It was a training camp
Yeah, a
mixed with
legit training camp.
yeah, it was a training camp mixed with a clinic. It's not even a seminar. It's called a clinic. So it was annoying because Darcel showed all these really cool stuff in the beginning, and then he was like looking at like orange belts and, like you said, orange belt, white belt kids that showed up, even though it says green belt and above, and they can't even do like a Tai Sabaki movement properly. With or if they do Tai Sabaki, they can't like coordinate with the hands. And he's like, "Come on, guys, you can't even do this." Like he basically had that look on his face.
Yeah.
And then he was like, okay, let's do this instead. And you can see that he dumbed down the movement so people can do. And then he was like, you still can't do this, and he dumbed it down again. So I'm like, okay, now I'm just doing some like really watered down version shit that Philippe can teach me at the dojo.
Yeah.
Like, so that was quite annoying. And but that's one part, right? That's just one experience. Um, and the thing about the training camp thing is, I'm too old for that shit, man. Like, I could have lasted 3 days, but on the second day, my knee swelled up because it was right after I had surgery. So it's like, okay, so do I stay for this whole thing or yeah, like it was difficult, right? So that's another reason I was like, man, I wish it was just a seminar sometimes. But I guess they wanted to again cater it to the younger generation and pair it up so that all the kids get to train together in one spot. So they were just trying to package everything together. So that was slightly annoying because once again, it's catered towards younger people and kids and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not too upset about the Darcel one because the training camp made sense, honestly. But for example, Krista Deguchi's coming to town, right?
Yeah.
That one, I was so excited and I was upset that, like I said, that I'm not going to be here until they put up the Smooth Comp link, and it was like basically toddler aged. It's not even toddler age. It's four to five to like 8-year old, and an 11-year-old and older. I'm like, so there's no adult session. There's going to be an 11-year-old and older session. So
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, I don't feel that bad about
You be the
missing out
creepy
on
old
it.
guy in the corner.
No, it's just it's again, I don't want to be in a room full of kids because
Well,
then we're gonna be doing kid stuff. They're gonna ask
Yeah.
kids question like, how did it feel to win the Olympic gold medal? Like, like so they're gonna. I sound a little like a bitter old man, which I am, but that's kind of how it was too for the Neil Adams Clinic. So when I went to the Neil Adams Clinic, I was like, I was the only person over the age of 25 there, I think, that actually trained. Everyone else there was every adult that were just standing watching, like with like, along the wall, supervising the kids with their thumbs in their belt, kind of thing. And so I was the only one training, and I was like training with it's teenagers basically. And then again, it was a really small space filled with kids. So Neil Adams showed like a warm up, and then he showed some Tai Sabaki movement, and that was it. And it was Q&A. So, and then I asked Neil Adams, I'm like, I mentioned this. I asked Neil Adams, I'm having trouble with my Uchimata. The elbow down thing, the tradition, what we talked about last episode.
Yeah.
And then he was like, then don't do it that way. He just said, don't do it that way. Then just grab up top and lift your elbow up. And I was like, oh, but that's not how they do it. And he was like, it doesn't matter. That's how I do it.
That's how I do it. It's like when you go to the doctor.
Yeah.
Doctor, my knee hurts when I do this. Well, then don't do that. Then great, thank you.
Yeah. So that was also one of the pieces that tied into why I figured out like the Hanpan TV stuff that they talked about. But yeah. So overall, I was just like, why did I drive all the way here like to do this? And the other thing is, because it's kid focused, if you didn't tell your kids like, hey, so and so is an Olympic medal champion or world champion or something, would they have known? Do they know who these people actually are?
Just going to a guest sensei is all they know.
Like, does your 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 8-year-old really know who Chris Izuguchi, Neil Adams, and we can even go farther, like who like Go Sonoda? Like, do they know who these people are? Like, so yeah, I don't understand.
Yeah.
But
one of my big, and I don't want to sound like we're just shitting on, but we're going to do some positives also, but I don't want to just shit on him, but one of my other pet peeves is something that I hate also, and it made me laugh again because I saw it happen. The Yanzi one, because that's just the biggest one that happened lately and stuff. It's just then people that are there that are just to get videotape. Like I know you recorded everything, but the people that are like blocking people getting inside, bringing their
Yeah.
cameras on the mat and stuff. And I get like you're in the moment, like learn from him, talk to him, ask him questions. That's my big thing about like when I go to these clinics. Like I said, I want to talk to him. Why do you do this? Ask questions. That's one of the things that's better about like then getting an instructional video and stuff that you can actually ask them, why do we do this? How does this
So
work?
this is what I wish was more common, right? So Darcel did, and for Darcel's clinic, he didn't say you can't record. That's why I recorded. Someone asked that. He said, fine, you can record. Because he posts shit on Instagram all the time, right?
Yeah.
And but for Nicholas Gill's clinic and Neil Adams' clinic, they told us not to record. And this is another reason why I think it's a waste of money. Because, not waste of money, but I don't like seminars. Because you learn this thing on the spot and you're like, oh, wow, this is great. But I can't record it. So 2 weeks from now, I don't fucking remember it.
Yeah.
And like I tried taking notes, but there's two problems with taking notes, right? One is not a video, so it's not the same. Two, some of these seminars they pack things in so tightly that you don't have time to go to the side and take notes down, basically. So you need to have the notebook around you the whole time, and you can't just write fast enough. So, so you're paying because you're supposedly paying to learn this skill set, but you can't even remember it. And there's no way you're going to learn a skill set within one session, which is why the Darcel one was a little better because it was a 3-day seminar.
Yeah.
And I actually did retain a bit of it. Like he showed so many things, and I only remembered like 2 things that he showed. So, which is why I recorded it. But even the recording, I only recorded it when I had time to grab the camera. And the last day when my knee swelled up, I just recorded. I didn't watch. I didn't train. Sorry. So yeah, this is another thing. Like what they should do is make people sign NDAs. No, seriously,
Okay.
when you sign,
Yeah. No, I'm laughing, but it's like that's very true.
yeah, because you sign all the waivers and shit when you sign up for these things anyway. So you should sign these things saying you're allowed to record, but we see your video uploaded onto the internet in any way, then you're at fault. We'll sue you for copyright. Like,
yeah.
I think that's the way to go. So, or just record the whole thing and sell it as an instruction. Like,
An instructional video. So I don't want to make it sound like we're just shitting on just going to seminars and stuff. So here's a little positive story for me. Okay, one of the best seminars I ever went to. This is way back in the day. Now this isn't even judo. This is actually Sandow. So I was in college. I used to train this one MMA gym in the Bay Area. It was in Milpitas. It was unlimited. It was unlimited martial arts. Then I got to change it to unlimited kickboxing. I got to change it to unlimited MMA. Whatever. The head instructor there was friends with Kung Lee, and I used to train at Kung Lee's gym every now and then as well. If you're from the Bay Area, you know MMA, you know Kung Lee. He was Bay Area famous for became MMA famous for being Strike Force and UFC.
Kung Lei.
We always call him Kung Lee. So when I was a kid, when I first met him, when I was like freshman year of high school, I think it was. I thought his name was his name was Chung Lee, like the killer, like the guy in Bloodsport, and then I thought it was Chung Lee. Someone called him that, and I was like, I don't think it's Chung Lee. It's a video game character. So one of the best seminars. So I was training this MMA place and stuff, and Kung Lee came like kind of like a guest instructor seminar thing to come and teach, and he said, all the things I teach you, one of the best ways to remember this stuff is go back to your own dojos, go back to your own gyms, academy and stuff, and teach this to your students. Like you have to do this immediately. You can't just learn it today and then think about it 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later. Like you have to continuously do it. If you like what I showed you, or you like this technique or these combinations, you have to make it part of your repertoire. So as soon as you get back, teach it to your students, and then you guys can work on it. Just make it a regular thing. And I was like, that makes so much sense than just going to seminars. It's like, oh, I like that a lot. Then you think 2 weeks later, oh, how did he do that? What did that work out with? How did that work out? Okay. That's like one of the best things Kung Lee, well, not teach me, but he told the entire class. But I take it that that's how I learn stuff, you know?
This is something that BJJ clubs actually do really well. Is that I noticed this, like people would go to like Eddie Bravo seminar or something like that, right? I'll just throw it out, or Gordon Ryan, and then they would send like a black belt or brown belt or whatever, right? and then they would come back to their gym and actually spend like a week working on this. It's like, hey, this is what I learned. I'm bringing it back to the class. But this, I don't think this is a thing in judo. I've never seen it where someone was like, hey, Juan went to the Tokyo Hirano seminar in the graveyard.
We had a seance. We brought him back on Halloween night.
So
Tokyo Hirano.
no one would ever say. I've never seen it happen where it's like so and so went to the seminar and let's have him go over what he learned and what he did there before we forget it, right? And I don't think I've ever seen that happen or heard of that happen. Let me know if that's happened before. I could see it happen if you are like, let's say a shodan or like a brown belt in a university program teaching judo, and then you went to a seminar and you're shodan, a new shodan that just opened a club in like Waco or something like that, Waco, Texas, and you're like, you don't have much to teach and you're not that skilled, but then you want to start a judo program in a judo desert, and then you learn the stuff, then now you're teaching it. That's like the edge case I can think of.
Yeah.
But I don't know any big clubs where they send people and then they're like, oh, let's train what we just learned from Darcel or something like that. Yeah, so that's something that BJJ clubs do well.
Yeah, but what are some pros to going to these seminars, do you think?
So it's still going to sound like a negative, but I'm going to pair it with a pro. Is that a lot of times this cool stuff that they show, you're just not ready for it. I wasn't ready for it until like I thought like a year or two later. A lot of these people, they're just literally, they're not ready to understand that stuff yet. It's kind of very similar to, you know, I talk about how Matthew, Scotty, and them, I told them something like 3 years ago, and then they came back to me like last year and they're like, hey, you know that thing you said to me like 3 years ago? It made a lot of sense now. Like, so it's they just don't have the embodied experience to understand some of that movement. So that's both a pro and a con, because the con is you're not ready for it, and then the pro is you can look back years from now and go back and say, okay, that makes a lot of sense, right? So that's one of the, you can see it however you want, but personally I think it's better to get that experience when you're ready, have the skill set to understand it, which is why the belt requirement I thought was cool. It's like a good idea, basically. Another pro is I already mentioned like a meet and greet part, right? But also you get to meet a lot of people from other places. Like I met a lot of people I still talk to about coaching now.
Yeah.
I'm not going to name who, because I know their sensei doesn't approve of the stuff that I teach them or tell them. So, but I share coaching experiences with these people I've met, and we talk about judo. So it's a good networking opportunity and meeting people from other countries, from other clubs, from the States. So that's a good thing. And it's also interesting because when you show up to these things, you kind of get exposed to like the judo politics a little bit.
Yeah.
You kind of see who walks in with like a chip on their shoulder, and it's like, yeah, people watching is really interesting at those places and see how they interact, you know? So it's just, if you're not part of that world, like the competitive judo, and you're not regularly exposed to it, which we're not at the national level or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting to see how these people talk to each other. It's a mix of, you ever seen those anime cartoons where people are like, their electricity is like shooting between their eyes? So it's kind of, there's some of that, and there's a little bit of showboating, you know. We didn't finish with all the cons yet. I honestly,
you think there's more cons? I don't want to.
I honestly think there's more cons than there is pros. I really do. The other, I want to go back to the con.
All right. Let me just go through a few good things, okay, before we go back to shitting on, okay? Yeah. So to me, when it comes like when it goes to seminars, one of the good things you're talking about, like how Anthony brought up about meeting people. To me, it's about getting to train with different people. I know it's safer to bring a friend with you and stuff, so you know who you're working with.
See, that was the con I was going to say. Like,
that's a con. To me, I think it's pro, because if you bring a friend with you, you know who's not going to kill each other. But it's kind of interesting because then you meet new people, you get to train with different people, different body types, people you don't work with before, people you don't know your move set, people you don't know what their move set, you don't know what they're good at or not good at. So I think it's kind of interesting when you go to those for that. I think that's kind of a pro, because it's not like at a tournament where you're trying to kill each other, you know, and not like when you were
Really?
instructional where you're trying to what? Well, okay. For me, I don't know, Anthony. We just get that killer vibe to people or something, but no one ever tries to kill me when I go to seminars and stuff. People try to, yes, try to outdo each other and show how good they are, but I've never had people try to kill me before. All right. I don't know. What are you telling them before you throw them? You suck. Ah.
I just will say, it felt like a war zone at some of these seminars, because it's like, I don't know what these people think of. I can't imagine, like, but you can clearly tell they're trying to show off in front of Darcel or something like that, or in front of whoever the person they're trying to show off, and they do some dangerous stuff. And I saw, especially the training camps, I saw a lot of injuries happen, avoidable injuries too. And when I was partner up with another gentleman from, like I said, I talked to, the reason we connected is because he looked at me, we were doing Nagekomi, and he was like, thank God you actually know how to throw, because other people were just driving their partners into the ground, and we talked about how the mats were shit. So he's like, thank God you actually have good technique and know how to throw, because we're not trying to murder each other, but other people, they're just murdering everyone during Nagekomi. And then when we did Randori, we're doing playful Randori while everyone else was like trying to kill each other, and they're trying to show off to Darcel.
Is that whole joke I have about like, stop trying to win practice, all right? Just practice. Stop trying to win practice.
And people actually got hurt. Like, I think in one case, someone had to be sent to the hospital. A lot of it was people just not paying attention to their surrounding and throwing people on top of other people next to them. So, yeah. I mean, I'm sure some old school people will say like, yeah, like that back in the day, that's how it was. And I'm like, okay, but we don't have that many bodies here in American Judo now. So
yeah,
keep hurting people, then
people don't need knee injuries, all right?
Yeah, and the funny thing is, a lot of these people in charge are saying like, oh, we need to host more tournaments and seminars and camps to grow judo. I'm like, not if it keeps hurting people. Like, I've never heard of someone come in to sign up for judo and say, I want to go to a seminar and tournament next week.
Actually, I have.
Yeah, but I'm saying people aren't joining judo because you have tournaments and seminars.
Half of that. People are joining judo for tournaments, but not joining judo for seminars, I'll say.
Yeah, so yeah, that's how I feel about seminars. I don't think they actually necessarily grow judo. They're helping. They're giving a customer service and product to the existing judo base, your existing customers, basically.
I will say that they're not growing judo, like making more people join judo, but they are making our community, supposedly, I would say supposedly, because I think they are, maybe they're not, making our community stronger, you know? Look at all these judo players here, you know? Judo's not dead. Look at these people training this weekend and stuff. Look at these people that signed up for judo. So I think it at least helps out the community.
Yeah, it's not growing judo, because can you imagine like stopping someone on the street and be like, "Hey, Chris Taguchi's in town next week. You want to try judo out?" Like,
who's that?
Yeah, so
the two-time world champion, Olympic gold medalist.
So I don't really think that's part of it, but it is a good thing. I'm not saying seminars are bad. I hope they continue doing it. I just really think people need to set their expectations of what they're getting. And again, they are selling a product and a service, and they're trying to at least break even, because it doesn't cost. It's not cheap to bring these people over. So they want people to come sign up and cover, at least break even, right? At the very least, and hopefully make more money so it can bring other people over. So if you like these kind of experience, even if you're like, I'm a Klimkate fan, I don't really care about Krista, then at least like you want to go support these kind of seminars so that they make the money to invite more people over, right? So I just want, again, people need to set their expectations on what it is. Some people think like, oh, I can get really good by going, and you see it online. Like some people have been talking about the Ono seminar, and again, I'm gonna get shit for this. They talk about an Ono seminar, and then they said, oh, like I feel like I'd learn all the secrets of Uchimata. I'm like, no, you're not. Like, no, you didn't. Like, you can disagree all you want. You didn't. Like,
well, that's a whole joke. I think we talked about it last episode, definitely, but it's a whole joke about these Japanese seminars and stuff. Like, it's great, it's cool to meet them and stuff. Maybe they'll show something cool, but they're just going to show the traditional Japanese way of doing it. They're going to show their special
Yeah,
way.
there's well, that's a different topic, right? Like
Yeah.
one of the people I talked to that does this kind of stuff was like,
Mm-hmm.
we're not going to bring Japanese judoka over because they're just going to show your wristwatch Uchimata
Mm-hmm.
garbage.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm word for word. I'm saying what he said, right? There's a reason why Shohei Ono is as good as he is compared to other people. It's because there are certain things that only he can do through hours and hours of training. Him telling you how he did X and Y, Z doesn't mean you can do it right away. It's either due to his strength, his size, his speed, or just the skill he developed over a long time. So I'd be more interested in him telling you how he trained, and
Mm-hmm.
this is something I'd be more interested in seminars, right? How he trained, how he got there, and the funny thing is when you ask, they're probably going to do the wristwatch thing, right? But that's what's missing from these seminars. And the people who said like, oh, I can do Uchimata now, I just think your own instructor was probably just bad at teaching it.
Mm.
That's all I'm saying. Like,
But I will say this though, and this goes back to my whole thing of like at a seminar, unlike an instructional video, you can, if they're nice enough, you can talk to them. You can ask them. Where if you did want to ask them, what made you get so good at this? How did you train for that? You could ask them that, you know?
well, that's the thing that we talked about this in one of the episodes that most experts don't know what actually made them good. They just can repeat what they did for training, which is uchikomis. I do shadow uchikomi. I like ate natto for breakfast every day. I
I
prayed to
did
the god
10,000
every morning.
sit-ups, 10,000 push-ups, 10,000 uchikomis,
Yeah, so
10,000.
they can just tell you what they did, but they can't tell you what it was. They can't narrow it down exactly what it was that they did that actually made it good. And none of them will actually. I've never heard one person say just I did a ton of randori. It's always like about foundations or footwork or uchikomis or some other stuff, but it's never ever I lift a ton of weights or I do 6 hours of randori a week or something like that. Like it's never any of that stuff. But yeah, so it leads me to what I said. Another pro is if you're in a judo desert kind of place, then these seminars will be very valuable because you might have limited maybe your instructor is just really good at two throws or really only good at teaching certain things. Then these seminars might, like I said, provide some value because your teacher wasn't good in the first place. But I think it's way more valuable than to just take that money and go train at a different local dojo that you know it is good. Like maybe fly to Shintaro's place or LA or Seattle or something and train there for like a week and then bring that back to your dojo. I think that's just as good as a seminar. That's just my controversial opinion. If you don't care about the meet and greet thing, I think your money and your time spent would be way better off doing something like that.
Well, I also think that people should take that when they go to a seminar, that it is kind of a meet and greet. Yes, you might learn something, you might not, but if you treat it like, oh, I'm paying to go meet this person, and then again, I keep doing this, you can actually talk to the person. You might be able to ask them questions about judo. They might give you a good answer, might give you a bad answer. You don't know what they're going to give you and stuff. But it's like, yeah, treat it like that. You know, you're not going to treat it like you're going to this like crazy Olympic training camp that you're going to be this super great person. You're not going to the hyperbolic time chamber with them, and one day is going to be worth a year of training. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if I told you this, but I actually had people message me asking me if I would do a seminar.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, and I said no because I'm like, what the hell am I going to show you? I'm not showing. I'm not that good. And I told them if you're interested, I can show you how to learn and how to teach. Like I can show you those skills because those are things I'm confident in. Obviously, no one's interested in that stuff, right? Because it's like I know how to learn, like I know how to teach, so no one's interested in that stuff. Another thing that Philippe suggested to me was like, hey, you're really good at like marketing and organizing the dojo and all that. Like I do all that kind of stuff for a dojo. It's like you should like start a course for that. I'm like, yeah, but all the people I told him there's no market for it because the people that need that information have Dunning-Kruger effect and they think they know how to do it. It's like, oh, I'm an eighth dan judoka. I know how to run a dojo, like that kind of people. And then the people who know how to do it and are interested in starting a judo dojo and everything, they already know how to do it. Like
Mhm.
they're already started and they have a successful business. So like the people that I'd be teaching to would be like a really small market, basically.
Mhm.
But yeah, seminars, again, I'm not saying don't do seminars. It's just you really have to set your expectations and what you're what you're gonna get out of it, basically. Your judo is not gonna improve overnight. Like if you think it does, ask your sensei. I really doubt it. Really,
Yeah.
really doubt it. And I think a lot of these people, when they say my Uchimata is good now, especially on Reddit, since some of these people put their flares up, they're like orange belts or green belts or yellow belts. I'm like, you probably haven't even gone over it in class properly yet or had an amount of time. So, um, and again, probably your sensei didn't teach you properly or didn't teach it yet. So I want to, before we move on, I want to like make it very clear. We're talking about seminars where it's like 1 day, 2 day or kind of thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Very different from like Philippe will always tell us stories about like training camps you go to, which is like a week long or something like
Mhm.
that. And like Tokyo Harano would be there, like all these like that's different. That's kind of like basically saying what we said, like go somewhere for a week and get instruction from the dojo. So that's
Yeah.
different. That's not a seminar, right?
Mhm.
Um and also, I do think there are a subset of people that are able to get value out of it. Like usually, like people who understand what they're showing and they can
Yeah. What they're
utilize it.
being
So there's
taught.
always going to be that edge case, right? I just think for vast majority of people that I see showing up to these things, because I also see them at the local tournaments afterwards, right? And I'm like,
Mhm.
you're not using what Darcel showed you. Like, so, um, yeah, so that's that. But yeah, so how would you compare it to instructional? So what are your thoughts instructional? We're getting a lot gonna get a lot of heat now because now we're
I know.
talking about some of these people's money makers, right?
Yeah. And to me, it depends on the person, what you want to learn from them, and what they're willing to show you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of like instructionals. Like I said, I'm not a big person to go to seminars. I usually, if I hear someone's going to go train at a dojo or something, or someone's visiting, I like doing that instead because I think it's a little more intimate and honest. The one thing I do like about instructionals is that you get to look at stuff over and over and over again. We talked about the whole thing
Yeah,
where
the
Kung Lee told me, he's
recording.
like,
Yeah.
where Kung Lee told me, he's like, once I show you this, once I teach you this, go back to your own dojo and work
Mm-hmm.
on this, do this, use it. And same thing with the instructionals. Like if I say it's instructional, like one that I always swear by, it's one of my favorite ones I always go to again because I like Niwas a lot, is that I go to oh my god, now I can't remember his name now. Oh my god. Kashiwazaki's video,
Mm-hmm.
okay?
Yeah,
I can't even,
that's a gold mine, right?
like I can't even remember how I came across that video, but that is like almost like my part of my holy grails of judo stuff that I go to and watch over again. Kashiwazaki had such great, simple, technical newaza stuff that I use still, that I teach to everybody, that I learn that I teach and stuff. These are my little secrets is why I do this, and I go over and over and over again. I would like to, if it. One thing is that's all in Japanese too. And I got a copy that's all in Japanese. It's
Mm-hmm.
not translated at all. So it's like I'm really looking at what he's doing, and like to me, I'd love to go to a seminar with him because maybe I could ask him
Yeah.
it. I'd have to get a translator to ask exactly like why we do this or how'd you come up with this? How'd you figure this out? But that's one thing about an instructional. If it's a good instructional, you can use it forever.
Yeah.
The problem is that some people put bad instructionals out there that
Yeah.
don't teach you nothing.
There's a lot of trash out there. That's my problem. I agree with you. Like instructionals can be so powerful. Like I love Jimmy Pedro's Grip Like a Champion 2.0.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the only instructional I would ever recommend any judo instructional that I
Mm-hmm.
ever would only recommend people to get because it applies to everyone. Like day one white belts, I think they would get something out of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Someone who's been competing a long time can get something out of it. But then when you go into certain other instructionals that are very specific about like, oh, we do this script strategy, if they do this and I do that, and then like I have this A game, then this B game, like then it's very specific to certain people that play that certain style of judo.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I think you need an ability to filter out the trash
Mm-hmm.
in order to figure out what applies to your game and what you could use. And
Mm-hmm.
this is a good rule of thumb I like to tell people. If you are looking for it to instructionals to get better, then I think you're off to a wrong start. I think you should be doing randori and competing and find out a problem you are having at the dojo. And when I say a problem, I don't want to get too deep into it because it goes into coaching and learning. The problem is not like I can't do Uchimata. I can't do Osotogari, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not the one I'm talking about. I would be like, a problem would be I'm having problem getting past this frame in a left versus right situation and then getting my hip to enter at this thing. Then like something, when you can narrow it down to something so specific, then you can actually go look for instructionals that will help you solve that problem. But if you're just like, I'm going to buy all these instructionals on all these techniques and hope it solves the problem that I have at the dojo, then
Well, it's also
because I'm not throwing little Bobby that
yeah. Well,
like
it's also a thing of that an instructional is supposed to be extra. Okay, it's to be supplementary to what you're learning and stuff. Because say you don't have, you want to learn judo. Okay, you're in a judo desert. That's like say you're in a judo desert. Okay. You love judo, you love someone in the UFC, or you watch an Olympics, and you're like, man, I love the sport, but there's no judo. So you said, you want to, I'm gonna buy the instructional video. I know Jimmy Pedro's one of the best. I know Neil Adams one of the best. I know Kayla is one of the best. I know Yanzi, whatever. Whoever you saw, whoever inspired you, like, oh, I know the best. I'm gonna buy their videos. So now you don't have someone to teach you how to do this. So who are you gonna do it with? Your brother, your sister, your cousin, your wife, your girlfriend. So now you're kind of like just shooting in the dark. Okay. Well, they say to do this, so I guess I'm going to do this. That's how sometimes bad habits can get developed. Like you can probably learn, like I said, if you had an instructor, but since you don't have an instructor and just using the videos, you're not going to understand why you do certain things. Like again, when you go to a seminar, you can ask, why do you do it like this? Why was this your style of doing this? Why do you like putting the elbow in the chest like this instead of what they say in the Kodokan that you're supposed to do it this way?
I mentioned it on Reddit. I did ask questions like that before on both YouTube comments and in seminars and through Twitter or whatever. I've asked a ton of people these kind of questions, and I've never ever gotten a satisfactory answer from them. It's always some bullshit answer. So I don't know whether they're trying to keep it as a secret or whether they don't know or whether they just like don't understand the question. But in one case, I got ignored. Like straight up, this guy was like, "Hey, you have any questions? You can message me on Twitter or whatever." Sent him a message. He ignored me. Right?
Nope. I don't got an answer for that one. So
no, that's funny because I actually looked up one of his older interviews and then he answered my question for me because he's like, yeah, I don't have an answer for that yet. So I realized why he didn't answer me at that point because I was he doesn't have an answer for it.
Another video. Well, this will be kind of weird and stuff because we're talking about videos and stuff to help people out. Another video that helped me out when I first kind of started doing judo, and I think it helped me out more when I became an instructor, was the Gokyo. Was Neil Adams Gokyo. That's the one I came across. I heard about the Gokyo, what it was, and I was like, what is this? And it's supposed to be all the things. So the one I came across when I first started looking for was the Neil Adams one. And I brought up in other topics we talk about and stuff. Like if I have a question, I can't talk to Philippe about like how is the technique supposed to work, or I forget something. I always go as Neil Adams Gokyo as like one of my go-to things of like how did he do it? How did he demonstrate it? You know, and it's helped me out when I first started learning judo. Be like, oh man, there's all these great moves I can learn to do. And then as an instructor, it's like, okay, what's a good basis of how to start off this move? How I should teach it to people. So that's another one that I like a lot. But again, I didn't go to his seminar. I kind of could ask him. So Neil, back in the day, you used to pull the head back like this. How'd you come up with that one? Where'd you get that from?
My gold standard for technique videos for Gokyo is the Kodokan, the old Kodokan video, not the new one. The old with the blue background. That one is up on YouTube. Is uploaded mostly by Mercury Judo. That's my gold standard. Like there's a lot of people on Instagram that DM me asking for advice on certain throws or like the mechanical differences between certain things or why X, Y, and Z is not working. So that is my gold standard for explaining stuff. And also Steve Cunningham. We talked about Steve Cunningham in an older episode. Those two are my gold standard. Even though Steve doesn't have like that much videos uploaded. And there's a really big YouTuber out there, I won't name who, that I always he not all his technique is bad, but he is the first person I go to look at examples of how not to do it properly.
What not to do.
Yeah, I was like, you see how he does it here? This is like wrong. Basically,
Yeah.
is what. But I don't. For those who talk to me about it, they know who I'm talking about because I use LinkedIn as examples. But it's funny because a lot of people on Reddit actually refer to that guy's video as gold standards, and I think it's fine because they don't see the small differences, and for the most part, the video is fine for beginners to know what the throw looks like. But there are if you start digging really deep into the mechanics for coaching and stuff like that, then you can see how it's either straight up wrong or inefficient, right? One really good example would be like ukigoshi versus ogoshi. Most people teach that wrong. It's just it's like that, but for other throws too. Yeah, so instructionals, like you said, we can replay all the time. I just again think you need to understand what you're missing so that you can actually buy the appropriate video that addresses that problem. And I'm saying this as someone that has spent thousands of dollars on instructionals. Just telling you that, like, none of them have been helpful for me except for Neil Adams is not Neil Adams. What did I say? Jimmy Pedro's grip like a champion, which you can get with your USA Judo membership. It's included in your USA Judo membership. So go get that. Most of the other videos, they either don't apply to my game at all, or they're for lighter weight classes or heavier weight classes. Like some of them are like Seoinage instructionals. I'm like, I'm never ever going to do Seoinage like that, right? Yeah, I think some of them would have been useful if I never ever moved to Hollywood Judo. Like some of the stuff Philippe shows us, right? Or he can get us to do. So if I stayed at like a small town dojo or I was like still living in Hong Kong, like training judo, then I think, yeah, those would have been kind of helpful. But then again, maybe I wouldn't have the ability to discern the differences and I'll just be like stabbing in the dark kind of thing.
Yeah, like we
So,
said, if you don't have anyone teaching you to tell you what's going on.
yeah.
And that's the thing
So,
with the like videos are good, but you don't get any feedback. Where
yeah.
at a seminar you might get some feedback, you know?
Yeah. I think this is why, how do I say this? This is why it's so hard to make a good instructional, because you can tell. In judo it's a little different, but I'm gonna use BJJ as an example because there's so much trash out there. It's easy to use an example. Most people just make shit up on the spot. They just make shit up, or they teach like their favorite thing, right? How do I word this? It's not what they're trying to sell you on something that you want to hear. Does that make sense? Like they want you to watch the thing and be like, "Wow, I totally understand it. I'm excited. I'm gonna try this out in class tomorrow." That's the kind of feeling they want to elicit.
Yeah.
Because once you get that, you're going to go on Reddit and be like, "Hey, I bought this instructional. It helped a lot, even though it probably didn't." You just feel like you understand it. Versus if you look at some actual good instructionals. I don't want to name who because it's gonna cause some problems, even though it's a good thing. Some of this guy's older content before he got famous was actually really, really good. But you can tell especially if you look at the comments and also how he didn't become popular, it's because nobody understands what he's talking about. But it's actually really, really, really good. I was actually I came across it when I was like an orange belt. I was like, why am I getting countered in Uchimata all the time? And then I watched this thing and he was like, if you're doing this, don't do Uchimata because you're going to get countered. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. But then he doesn't make that content anymore because it doesn't get views. It's not some crazy innovative thing that no one's ever done before that's dangerous. And it's not something that makes people go, oh, I understand it. So, that's what you have to filter out in instructionals. Like who's trying to sell you something that makes you just to make you feel good and not make you hear what you need to hear, basically. So that's a really hard thing to do. But if in the end it's a product and a service, if you enjoy it and you got what you think the money was worth, then it's fine, I think. But there's some of these instructionals are kind of like selling you a lie, I guess. Kind of like kind of like herbal supplements. You
What,
know,
Herbalife doesn't work? What are you talking about?
it's funny because I live right by Herbalife headquarters, and one of my family members sells their crap, and I have to argue with them about it all the time.
Uh-huh.
It's a very similar because you can argue instructionals are like supplements, right?
Yeah.
Like
No, that's what I said. They're supplementary to your judo. They're supplementary to help you.
yeah,
You're not
and
going to
just
learn
like
judo just watching videos. Just like you're not going to
ju-
learn judo from just reading a book.
yeah,
You have to do it with
just
somebody.
just like supplements, there are good ones or bad ones, and then there are ones that over exaggerate what their benefits are.
Mm-hmm.
So, because they just want to get you to buy them. But yeah, I think we're gonna get enough heat for what we said so far. So,
Oh, you are. I
um,
don't get heat. People love me.
well, because you're one of those people that made instructionals. So,
No, I make simple instructions that help out. And my instructions that I make that I do release from people is to help people that I started during the pandemic, to just help people that train up by themselves. And I got so many people that are asking, like, how do I use the Chikomi bands? What can I do? So I was showing them these are all the things, all the exercises you
mhm,
can do with the Chikomi band, stuff you can do by yourself, you know?
yeah,
And I don't say like, oh, you're gonna learn judo perfectly by just doing these exercises. No, these are things that you can do by yourself because sometimes you don't have a
yeah,
partner. Like you should be training at a dojo with partners, your instructors,
hmm.
working with people and stuff. The stuff that I put out there is usually stuff you can do by yourself, simple things so you can work out on your own.
So this is based off of like learning science, right? If you can
Mm-hmm.
learn something like it's like block versus random practice. If someone said or you watched or read had you go from not able to do something to being able to do something, then that's probably you probably didn't learn it as a skill. You probably didn't acquire it as a skill. So that's a pretty good rule of thumb is if you watch an instructional and you did it in class and it worked, or you feel like it worked, it's most likely it wasn't an instructional, or most likely didn't work. There are some edge cases. Again, I don't want to make a whole episode out of it. There are some edge cases, but most likely it did not work. Um, so the good instructionals would be the ones that tell you something that you need to hear, and it clicks for you. Not because it clicks, not just because they're right or wrong or it's bad or good. It's you're at that point where you can understand that. Does that make sense? You're at
Mm-hmm.
that point of your experience level that you can understand that, and then you can apply it to your practice, but you can't get it to work, but you know what you need to work on. So it will take a while for you to develop it. So it helps you modify your training, your day-to-day training, and sets a goal for you to get to. So this is why I use the Shohei Ono again. Gonna get a lot of shit for it. The Shohei Ono seminar is an example because you have all these people saying I couldn't do this before, but now I can do it. I'm like, that's not how learning works. I did have two black belt friends that went to two seminars, in one in the New York one and one in the Maryland one,
Mm-hmm.
and they gave me opposite experiences from these people on the internet. They were saying like he didn't show anything that was worth the money that they charged me for, both
Mm-hmm.
these people, and they're black belts. And one of them basically just said like, yeah, he straight up told us that he just doesn't grip fight. Like, how does that help you, right? It's like, yeah, you're Shohei Ono, you're probably so strong you can like do whatever. But if you just tell orange belt there, like, yeah, I just don't grip fight, then
I'm not gonna grip
orange
fight
belts,
either now.
yes, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
grip fight either. That's not helping them. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there's other details, but I don't want to like totally shit on it or expose who they are. So, but
Mm-hmm.
again, it just goes back to what we said. Like certain people are going to get certain things out of it. Some people feel like they got something, but maybe they didn't. In the end, if you're happy with the product and service, then pay for it. So,
Pay Anthony his $50 to get his family membership so he can read what he has on his Substack.
founding membership. I don't know.
Founding, sorry, founding, not family. Family. Family is another price. Family is a free 99.
Yeah. I want to, since we already talked about it, like the we both agree going to a dojo to train for like
Mm-hmm.
X amount of time is probably going to net you a lot more value, right? Than
Yeah. Well,
seminars and stuff.
we're both big advocates of like when we travel places, when we go somewhere,
Hmm.
we go somewhere on a holiday or go visit family, whatnot. We try to look for dojos to train at. That's one of our things, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the great things about judo is that because we are a big judo family for the most part,
Yeah, but
we
that's a
can.
one-off thing. I'm talking about staying somewhere for a week or a month and
Mhm.
training with the intention of learning from that
Yeah.
person.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Kind of what Darcel like moved to San Marcos, the island. I forgot what
Hmm.
it's called. he opened a dojo there, and now people are visiting there to train there. Like our member Sophia went there. You'll see her in some of Darcel's video. Like that kind of experience, I think it way exceeds the seminar, because seminar
Oh
he
yeah.
has to they have to figure out, okay, I need to show something where they feel like they got their money's worth. It's not going to ruin my brand reputation or whatever.
Yeah.
But when you go there, they can be like, okay, what do you want to? It's like a private. It's like a long-term private, right? What do you want to work on? What are your weaknesses? And they can like address
They
that.
see what you're good
right?
at. They see what you're bad at. They see, okay, he likes holding that way. She likes coming in this way. How can I help them out? You know, what can I teach them?
That's for a private. But if you were to just show up to class, like then you can't guarantee that person's gonna be the one teaching you, especially in BJJ, right?
Oh, that's BJJ. Okay.
No,
You don't have that a lot.
especially in
I'm saying,
BJJ.
yeah, but you don't have that a lot in judo. You don't have the judo where like the sensei's this of the dojo, but this assistant instructor teaches all the classes. You don't have that much in judo.
It doesn't happen as often, but you can't guarantee he's going to pay the most attention to you, right? So that's one of the weaknesses of doing that. So then you have to pay for a private, but privates are, again, we have a lot of I think privates are more, how did I say this? People who are training recreationally tend to not get privates, but then like beginners and also really experienced competitors tend to get privates. Would you agree with that statement?
Yeah.
Like the people in the middle don't really get privates, but people who are beginners feel like they can get better faster by getting privates, which I don't think so. Again, you got to set the expectations. And then there are the high end people that will get privates from, like, I want to learn Darcel's so and so I can like use it in Olympics or something, right? So there's that. But again, privates, I think you need to be able to go in knowing what you want to do. I actually, we have some students here who got privates from not Philippe, some other local. We have a lot of like Olympic medalists in the area.
Yeah.
So they got it from them, and they're like, "Yeah, he just made me slap the mat for like half an hour." I was just, yeah. One of them was like, "He made me slap the mat for half an hour," and there's another not Olympic medalist but well-known guy here, and it's like, "Yeah, he made me do uchikomis, check the watch for like 15 minutes and 20 minutes, and then like showed me how to do like the useless uchimata, like the hanegoshi uchimata thing." Like, so I'm like, they probably don't know. As beginners, they don't know what they're getting, right?
Yeah.
And
he's an idiot. He doesn't know what he wants.
Yeah,
he doesn't know what good judo is.
Well, I don't think they're cheating them. They're just saying, "Oh, he's a beginner. This is how I began when I was 5 years old. So let me teach them this thing." So I think that's what they were doing. And we can just basically summarize this as like, don't be delusional about what you're getting out of a seminar. Basically.
Kind of, yeah. Like I said, you're not going to the hyperbolic time chamber and 1 day is an equal 1 year of training with somebody. Okay. It's a seminar. How much can you learn in 2 hours? And hopefully they teach you like their favorite technique or what, like I always say, this works best for me. I like this. It might not work for you, but this is what I'm going to teach you guys today. And I say it all the time in my class, you know, what works for me, not work for you, but I try to teach multiple ways of doing the same thing, you know, to help people out. So I do think going to dojos, traveling, visiting is going to be way more valuable than just going to a seminar or even just buying their book or buying their videotapes, or not videotapes anymore. I'm sounding like an old man. Buying their old Betamaxes. No.
Yeah, I mean, if you're serious about training, I would like, instead of spending money on a seminar, just go to Jimmy Pedro's for like, go to one of those national training centers and just stay there for a week. That's way more valuable than a seminar, in my opinion. But I'm not. I'm just coming at it from a recreational competitor, not even competitor anymore because I can't even compete. But from a recreational point of view, like that's what I would do to improve my own judo. And I would never ever go to a seminar thinking, oh, this is going to make me better overnight or even in a month. I don't even think in a month I would get better.
Yeah. So how do you feel about the old saying of going to one competition is worth like 5 classes?
The one I heard was one Shiai is worth 1,000 Randori sessions. That's what I grew up was being told.
It's similar saying, similar meaning.
Yeah, I used to say that when I was back when I first got my Shodan and was teaching with you guys.
Hmm.
I used to say that. I kind of believed it, but then as I got to see more students compete, I don't know. I'm not so sure anymore.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, especially knowing what I know now, this is going to be a coaching and teaching topic that's going to take forever for me to discuss, but I think it's a good testing environment. So
Yes.
if you're training, obviously, if you're trying to train a competitor, like national competitor and all that kind of stuff,
Hmm.
then you need to compete as much as possible because you need to get used to competing. Competing is a different skill set. So I don't know how that would say it's worth 1,000 Rindery session because I think I treat it as like a separate skill. Competing is a
Hmm.
separate skill. So that is what I think if you're a training competitor. But if you're talking about us like local people that just do it for fun, um, most people treat randori as competition.
Hmm.
Like that because I always talk about how there's a learning environment and the performance environment, right? So
Yeah.
how do you gauge whether you learned anything compared to before? Like whether what you did before worked in training. Most people use randori as that, not competition. Ideally, you would use a competition to test it and then you use randori for learning. But let's be honest, nobody does that. No matter how much your instructor yells, like try out different techniques. This is not competition. Just try stuff out. Like that's not how people treat randori. And randori is this is actually going to be a topic in the future I want to talk about.
Hmm.
So I'm not going to deep dive too much into it. But most randori is being treated as a performance environment, and rightfully so because most people don't compete. So that has to be the performance environment.
Hmm.
Most people judge their worth, their rank, whether they are ready for the next belt level by randori. Like, how are you gonna like some instructors? Most instructors do this. I do this. You judge whether someone's ready for the next belt during randori, but then at the same time, you tell people during randori to try stuff that they're not good at. So it's like it's very conflicting, right?
uh,
Um, So I that's why I'm not so sure about that phrase anymore. I think overall the competition pressure just helps you identify your weaknesses. That's why where the
mhm.
value is. So whether it's worth 1,000 randori sessions, I don't know, or
Yeah.
5 training sessions, I don't know. I think it's helpful, which is why people say that because
Hmm.
they see like they feel like oh my god, like now I want to go back and train and work on all this stuff. Like that's why they think it's worth a lot, I think. But
Hmm.
I don't think it's what people think it is. So
Yeah. To me, it depends on how long, how well you did it. Like, well, pretty much how long were your matches, okay? If you go to a
mhm.
tournament and you get thrown in like 10 seconds, 30 seconds or something, that's not worth 5 classes. Like, what you learn from those ones are like, okay, like I tell people when they go compete for the first time, it's real. All right. That person's going 110% trying to beat you. You need to go 110%
Yeah,
to beat them. And some people don't understand that. They're like, oh, well, it's maybe just like Ron Dury in class. Like, no, in class, it is different. In class, people go hard, but I don't think no one's trying to kill each other in class. Most people
well
aren't trying to kill each other in
I'm also
class.
trying stuff out too. Or if
Yeah.
I'm trying because how do I say this? Remember when we had we can't name the place. Uh, when we had visitors from a different dojo where they were quote unquote shut down, um one visitor in particular asked for his black belt from us,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And um and I would assume is because his home dojo wasn't giving him a black belt,
Yeah.
and he would constantly show up late and then pretend to warm up the entire time while we're doing drills and we're all tired.
Hmm.
And then when Rondo restarts, he would jump in and he would go super hard and he would try to
Yeah.
throw all the black belts as hard as he can, and then like to obviously, like I said, show that he's at the black belt level and he's deserving of the black belt.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's the kind of people that if you have that environment where you get promoted based off your performance and run rate, then it trains that behavior. Meanwhile, I'm like I got countered by him because I was trying something I wasn't good at.
Yeah.
I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to practice. I'm actually trying to practice, and he just
Mhm.
counters me. So, um, that's the difference, right? It's the same thing we tell beginners, right? Like,
Yeah.
don't be afraid to attack, and that's why I don't allow counters in my beginners class. Because one, that's really common way of injuries happening, and two, I for beginners, I don't want them to be afraid of getting countered. I want them to attack, 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 attack.
Mhm.
So by removing counters, you just force them to attack.
To me, I always think that Shia is just going to competition, like I said, just makes you see how real it can get. And
Hmm.
if sometimes make people get better, sometimes scares people away. But I guess it depends on if you have like I said again, if you have short matches, you're not going to learn a
Hmm.
whole lot. But when you have long matches, you're like, okay, I can push
Yeah.
myself this much. This combination works for me. We had one of our students, his very first competition. He lost his first match. And I told him, it's okay. You're fine. You're still going to compete. Still go out there, fight hard. And he figured out his throw. He figured out one throw that worked for him. He just spammed that the rest of the tournament
Hmm.
and ended up taking first place. So yeah, it was worth that. He figured out, okay, this is my good competition throw. I don't work on a lot of practice, but it's working for me in competition. Just like for me, my competition throws are actually, it's kind of sounds kind of terrible, but my competition throws are not my practice throws.
Yeah.
The throws I practice and a lot of throws I do in Rondori at the dojo are not the throws I do in competition.
And that's the art of coaching, right? It's your coach. I feel like it's your coach's job to tell you, like, you need to work on this, right?
Mhm.
And then like, but you can't just like not ever not do your competition throws in Rondo, because then the skill will go away and you're not going to get better. So it's up to your coach to figure out and determine, how do I balance like the training menu basically of how you do stuff. Otherwise, if you just leave it up to the athlete, then it's like hit or miss. It's like
Mhm.
rolling the dice, like whether they figure it out or not. Um, but we're moving away from the seminar topic. I want to,
Yeah.
before, if you don't have anything else, I just want to wrap up. We talked about my seminar experience with BJJ.
Yeah.
Um, I got tricked in my white belt days. I
Oh
got
yes, I
tricked
remember
into,
that
yeah,
one. Yeah, I
yeah,
remember
I
that
got
one. Yeah.
tricked into going to the seminars that were $200 with some famous person, and it wasn't. I didn't understand how these seminars work until recently, relatively recently. But basically, when you start an affiliation, you promise to bring on like the head of the affiliation over as to your seminars X amount of times a year, and then during that time they give out promotions.
Hmm.
So the famous Gracie guy that came, I sat in on it as a judo guy with my judo gi and a yellow belt, and he showed some really useless calf slicer technique. Like
Hmm.
it would never ever work in real life, basically. And and then afterwards, it was in Seiza, I sat through 30 people getting promoted, and then there was a Q&A session, and then there was a photo op, and then that
See,
was
told you
it.
Q&A. See, told you get question and answer. That's what I'm there
So
for.
that was, and then I realized for a lot of these people, if they didn't pay that $200, they wouldn't have been
They would
promoted.
have got promoted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that doesn't happen in judo, but there, not to say that all seminars like that. I did go to a seminar one time. I forgot the guy's name. I actually don't know. He's not, BJJ has so many people that are some of them are unknown that do seminars, right?
Hmm.
And his game just was not what I would do.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's like a small person's game. So yeah,
It,
so I didn't really have much of a positive experience on that end.
it was funny.
And,
Like this reminds me of a story of so I do catch wrestling. Everyone knows I do catch
mhm,
as well. And we didn't necessarily have a seminar, but I guess this catch wrestling guy was visiting. And I didn't know he was visiting or coming to
mhm.
the place that day. So I arrived at catch and there's like all these like 10 extra people that I've never seen before in my life. Being like, oh yeah, I'm here to train with blah blah. I was like, who? Who's that? That's someone famous? And Raul didn't charge him. I don't know if he charged him extra or what he did. I don't know exactly.
Mhm.
But it was just like these people that showed up to because somewhat famous catch wrestling guy was there. I've never seen these people again. They just showed up that one day and then they left. So it's like the craziest thing. Like, was this a seminar today? Was this a clinic? What happened? Was this a guy visiting to practice?
Yeah,
And no one got
the
promoted. No one got no
no one
catch
got
wrestling
promoted.
certificates. Sorry.
Yeah, I also think my jujitsu is just not at that level to, like, back to what I said, right? I just don't think my BJJ skills at the level to get anything from the seminar. So that's
Mm.
how I felt. Um, but yeah, so
All right, so those are just our thoughts, pros and cons of seminars.
Don't listen to me, because if you do seminars the way that I'd like you to do, you would not make any money at all. Like,
These
you
are the
have
pros
to, yeah.
of seminars and videos and recordings and watching people's things on tape, or going to a dojo, or going to a dojo and training for a month or two, or
Yeah.
just going to tournaments. Like, these are just our thoughts on these things. But the basic thing was just about, since a lot of seminars are coming up, some things are happening, some people are asking us about it. We had some students go to some recent seminars. Some said they learned stuff, some said they didn't. Just our thoughts on seminars and what we think about them, what we prefer.
Yeah, one thing I forgot to mention is seminars are also a good way to support an athlete that you want to help go to the Olympics. Like a lot of especially in the USA, a lot of these athletes are working multiple jobs while training, and seminars is a way for them to make money while also train with different training partners. Because usually they would like go somewhere, train with a local dojo somewhere, and also run a seminar. So it's a good way to support athletes, whether they're good, the seminar is good or not. But if you want to support the athletes, just like go to a seminar.
Yeah. Like my catch wrestling seminar. Come to my catch. You'll learn totally different stuff. Because it's going to be a no-gi judo, okay? Totally different than
Are
the
you
regular
calling it
judo.
catch wrestling now?
I know. I just call it catch on accident.
Are you going to
'Cause-
market it as catch?
No, I'm not one of those
Yeah.
guys. I'm not one of these guys that does no-gi BJJ with one
Yeah.
takedown and call it catch wrestling. No, I do no-gi judo. I'm teaching you judo techniques.
It's funny. I want to, I should have said this in the beginning of the podcast, but I'll bring it up again next episode in the beginning, because I know not everyone listens to the end. But there's an Instagram account I've been following for years now called School of Grappling, and is run by a guy named Andy. And he's a wrestler, catch wrestler, whatever you want to call it. So he started a podcast, his own podcast. I highly recommend it. Like, it might be a little dry for some people because he's very scientific. And his first episode was with Greg Souders, the ecological BJJ guy. So if you want to, that will put most people to sleep. But so if you're not interested in like the science part of it, don't listen to that episode. But the second episode, he interviews Sonny Brown. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because he says basically what I said in a lot of the past episodes where we got a lot of shit from BJJ. Because he essentially says jujitsu is some of the clips of stuff he said, it was like jujitsu is just catch wrestling, like no gi jujitsu in particular. So he said that with Sonny Brown. And he also mentioned how he wished there was a rule set for with pins, basically.
Oh yeah.
And he wants people to get punished more on the bottom. And he's like, I just want a rule set for wrestlers and people to do. So it's kind of similar to what we said about judo. It's just we're saying the gi version of what he said, and he's saying the no gi version of what we said.
Okay.
So I'm waiting to see if he gets like some nasty comments like we did, but telling him to stop crying and make his own tournament or something. But yeah, highly recommend it. It was interesting listening to it. He echoes a lot of similar thoughts that we talk about, basically.
All right.
Just he is much more educated than us, and says things in a more eloquent way. Let's just say it. So.
All right, fine. We're not eloquent at all. There's some street thugs that do judo. That's all we are.
All right.
All right. So with that, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe. You can follow us on Instagram at Tatami Talk. Follow us on YouTube at Tatami Talk. If you want to send us any topics, things you want us to look at, videos, what do you guys want us to go over? You can send to Anthony at tatamitalk@gmail.com. You want to follow me at _Juan on Instagram. You follow Anthony throw it on Instagram. All right. Oh, and the threads. I always forget to talk about the threads. Yeah. All right. And I'm thinking about doing Blue Sky. I don't know if I'm going to do Blue Sky or not. I don't know if Blue Sky does their Instagram. I'm going to try that one out. We'll see what happens. All right.
I don't think we're blown up enough to do that.
Well, like, Anthony's gonna start his OnlyFans next, also. Okay.
No, at this rate, I'm just gonna do OnlyFans. Seriously, like with the way that Substack is, what a pain it is. With people saying I don't want to pay, but when I keep getting messages from people saying, "Is there any way I can like not pay and read the article?" So I keep getting messages like that, and I'm just like, I might as well just do OnlyFans, because OnlyFans does the feature that I wanted to do, which is you can subscribe for free and then get access to the wall posts.
You gonna put up those feet pics for people?
Yeah, sure. But so there's that, and yeah.
All right. So with that, please don't forget to
subscribe to my OnlyFans, I guess. And Slack.
Tatami Talk OnlyFans coming soon.